Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Magento Mobile webinar. We're about to get started. We're just waiting for a few more people to join. I've left today's agenda here on the opening slide so you can prep yourselves there. And you're also welcome to ask questions using the box here on GoToMeeting. I'll be answering some of these toward the end of the call, but feel free to ask them at any time, and we'll try to leave ample time at the end to get to them. Once again, everyone, welcome to the Magento Mobile webinar. We are just waiting a couple more minutes so some of the other callers can join. Today's agenda is posted here on the PowerPoint presentation, first slide. Feel free to prep yourselves there. We'll also be taking questions toward the end of the webinar, but feel free to type those questions into the box here on the GoToWebinar screen, and we'll get to those either throughout the presentation or at the end. We'll try to leave ample time. We'll begin the webinar in about 1 to 2 minutes, just waiting for a few more callers. Okay then, let's get started. It looks like we have a large attendee list here, and I'm sure we'll have some more dialing in as we're getting going here, but let's get started for those who have already joined. I'd like to welcome you to the first ever Magento Mobile webinar. I'm personally really excited about this product, and I know many of you are too. I also know there are a lot of questions about how it works, how much it costs, what Magento's strategy is here, and I am happy that finally get to kind of peel back the curtain here and talk to you all about everything we've been working on over the last few months. The way it's going to work here is I'll give a quick introduction for myself, quick overview of how we view mobile commerce and how our product fits into that worldview. I'm going to introduce the product, talk to a little bit how it works, what sort of features it has here in phase 1, as well as what kind of features we're going to be releasing in later phases this year. Talk a little bit about pricing, and hopefully I'd like to make it through all these topics efficiently so that we can get to the Q&A at the end. And the way we'll be using the Q&A is I have a queue here that takes your questions throughout the presentation, and I'll be reading them off at the end, as many of them as I can, especially the ones that are asked multiple times. It also helps me if you're asking questions throughout the presentation, because I can take a look and see if I'm catching things, or if I've missed anything I can circle back. So with that being said, I'll get started, and once again, welcome. So first, before I introduce the product, I wanted to introduce myself. I'm new to many of you. I started at Magento earlier this year. I've been a fan of Magento now for a couple of years, and I joined Magento from MySpace, and previous to that I was a consultant at Sapient in their e-commerce and internet practice. You can contact me on Twitter and elsewhere around the web where you can find me. My formal title is Senior Product Manager here at Magento. I manage 2 product groups, or business units, if you will. The first is Magento Connect. I'll talk a little bit about Magento Connect at the end because it connects to mobile in sort of a unique way. But Magento Connect is sort of the app store for Magento, where our community and Magento and our partners rallies around the Magento platform and extends it in unique ways and builds functionality that isn't available in our core, but that serves unique use cases out there for different types of retailers. Some examples are advanced dropshipping extensions, plugins to third-party systems like analytics, CRM, ERP, and really literally thousands of others. We have over just about 2,500 extensions in the marketplace. It's growing fast, and that's one of the areas that I manage today. The other is Magento Mobile, which is a brand new product that I'm going to talk about today. And like I said, both of these products sort of have a tie-in later on that I'll describe in detail. And just to answer some of the questions coming in, this presentation will be made available, as well as a recording of the presentation. We'll be posting that information to our blog and sending you all a personal email. So before I get into a little bit about the product, I wanted to talk a little bit about Magento. Some of you on the call may have heard of Magento and know a lot about it. Others might not know so much. So just quickly, Magento is an e-commerce platform. It's been around for about 2 years, one of the fastest growing platforms in the world. It is open source, and small businesses, mid-sized businesses, and large enterprises are using Magento to drive commerce experiences on the web. Very simple, very flexible, and easy to use, and that's what's made it so popular. It can serve the needs of a simple shop, as well as accommodate the needs of some advanced retailers on the web through the framework that it uses. And there's a lot plugged into e-commerce, Magento e-commerce here. And the way we see the world is, and our mission is to enable this ecosystem that's been built around our platform, to help our partners be successful, to help our merchants be successful, and to find new and unique ways to accommodate our merchants out there. And that's sort of the corporate way of presenting ourselves. The way I say it to friends is that Magento is like this great tool that we give to the emerging retailers who are going to be the number ones one day. Right now, a lot of the big retailers are running big systems that have been around for a while and have their unique strengths, but Magento kind of goes after the person who's going after them, who wants to really capture market share, move fast, and it's a platform that many people, when they start to use it, they feel that it solves their problems, helps them move really fast, and integrate third-party systems, and get active with SEO, and now be a strong player in the mobile commerce space. So we hope to be arming a lot of those emerging retailers in the months ahead, and I think that mobile is going to be a crucial part of that. Diving into detail on each of these, Magento Commerce has 3 tiers. Magento Community is, all of these are built on open source platforms, but Magento Community is free and open source. You can download it at magentocommerce.com or now magento.com. Magento Professional is sort of a mid-tier product for the smaller and mid-sized businesses who want a little bit more functionality than Community has to offer, as well as some support. And then Magento Enterprise is a fully featured, sometimes has some unique features with support and some of the things bundled for the bigger enterprise grade retailers who want a little bit more horsepower on their platform. And through this, we have a lot of things plugged into it. We have Magento Mobile, which includes browsers, includes this new iPhone app, and we'll be rolling out to other devices this year, and as well as Magento Connect, which I talked about. So why Magento Mobile? A lot of people have asked, why is Magento so interested in mobile? Why was it the centerpiece of these big product releases that you recently had in Europe? Here are a few things that you'll see repeated again and again out there in the studies. By 2012, mobile internet usage will exceed PC internet usage, and some analysts are even moving that to 2011. Some have said, some indicators show that it'll be surpassed in 2010. Mobile is growing so fast, and users are engaging with the internet with these devices, and in a very short time, that market will be bigger than the PC internet users. We think that's significant because there's another stat that shows in 2011, about 25% of mobile users will have purchased some item using their phone. Now, that audience might be a little bit fragmented between digital goods, downloads for phones. Some are actual physical goods that they order through an app or browser. But when something is a 1 in 4 trend, that's usually noted as a mainstream activity. And we're just seeing this grow and grow and grow, and some see this as a big tipping point coming up where maybe in 3 years it'll be an old idea to buy something on a PC when you're sitting at your desk, or maybe that's just some augmented fringe activity, but the real buying activity takes place on phones. It could be a very real thing in the very near future. We want to start positioning our merchants for success in that area now so that we can learn a lot, tweak a lot of things, have a really just spectacular mobile commerce platform for everyone who wants to compete in that space moving forward. And some other recent trends, there's this now shift. Many of you might have seen it. It is that, I don't know if you remember this, but a few years ago, I used to get made fun of for using my BlackBerry because it was seen as like this tether. In some ways it still is, but this mobile device was something that kind of kept you locked to the real world, and you couldn't really, or locked to this work world, and I couldn't really enjoy what was going on outside. This perception has shifted where now it's the PC that holds me down. PC chains me to my desk. It's the mobile phone that sets me free and lets me get out there and do things whenever I want to do things, and now buy things and has these augmented experiences. So this is a bit of a shift that I'm seeing, that people are very comfortable using their mobile devices more and more each day for more and more use cases. And within those use cases, of course, is that there's this increasing adoption of mobile devices for commerce. Sometimes it's just navigating to a business's app or mobile optimized website to make a direct purchase, just like I would on the web. And now there's this new emerging area of augmented buying, where it's I buy in a physical shop and it's somehow augmented by phone, whether that's scanning barcodes or doing all sorts of other things. And so we looked at both of these areas and try to position our platform for success in each, and I'll go more into detail on that later. And lastly, another big factor is that you see larger retailers expanding their mobile commerce budgets 3, 4, 5-fold. So the investment in mobile commerce is really expanding. Every day you see another retailer jumping into a new iPad app or a new mobile browser microsite or main site based on something like jQuery for some interesting experiences. So there's all kinds of new investment in this area, all kinds of innovation, and we saw that as an important trend. And it's one of the reasons why back in end of last year, beginning of this year, we really took this serious, devoted a lot of resources to it, and it's got us to where we are today. Another recent study, and you can Google this. This has been cited in a lot of posts lately, but by Coda Research Consultancy, showing the growth rate of mobile sales. That is, people buying things on phones, and what kind of industry is going to emerge here. Between 2010 and 2013, you see this huge hockey stick, and it just keeps on sort of doubling every 2 years after that. But what this now means is that 2 to 6% of e-commerce sales are coming through the mobile channel. And we see that growing rapidly in the future, especially as there's more experiences built in mobile devices that accommodate a lot of the typical pain that you might have as a buyer, whether you're in store and a line is long, or you're trying to get a deal on a sale and you can't be sitting in front of your PC, or mobile devices are accommodating more and more of these get it now, sort of eliminate the friction in the buying process experiences. So I could see mobile commerce quickly moving up to double-digit percentages within a couple of years of overall e-commerce sales. So some of you might know that Magento went mobile in 2008 with the m-commerce theme for the iPhone, and this was based on a browser. So if a user navigated to your e-commerce shop using their Safari browser on their iPhone, they wouldn't see your full store because it's so small and sort of microscopic on their screen. They would see this optimized site. It's sometimes been called WAP sites, mobile optimized themes, lots of other names. But the bottom line here is that you're accessing a store on the web, and there's a new default theme that comes up. And we've learned a lot since then. And the reason I bring up that we first went mobile in 2008, because right now there's a lot of chatter about other platforms going mobile, and I am thrilled about the amount of innovation happening on other platforms besides Magento. But I'm noticing that there's a trend to declare victory at the browser level, and half of all sales today are taking place on the mobile channel now through apps, and that trend is growing pretty quickly. Half, I say about 45 to 48%. So if a mobile commerce strategy is based on the browser alone, it takes away a big chunk of the presence of what you can have to reach users in mobile devices, especially when it comes to taking advantage of native features, and I'll go into that a little bit further in a little while. So here's how we kind of look at the world. When we look out there at the mobile commerce industry, what's changing, what's happening, how do we position our merchants for success with a new mobile commerce offering? The first point is that you need native apps plus browsers, or WAPs, or a lot of other names that be given to these. The browser, as I mentioned, we've been doing since 2008. We've gotten a lot of feedback from our merchant community, and we've seen 1 to 2% of overall sales coming through, an optimized browser. We've seen big increases. But really what you're seeing out there today is browser is the must-have. You should definitely have that, so when someone navigates to your site using a mobile device, the experience is good. What you're also seeing now, and I invite you to go out there and check this out, go to the Yelp.com app, which is a local city search, reviews, restaurants, businesses app to find what's interesting around you. Yelp. Another one, in addition to the Yelp site at Yelp.com, access it through a mobile device, is the Amazon browser site. And there are several others. But when you go to these, you're noticing that these companies are beginning to push people to their browsers to their app, their native apps from their browser. So if you go to Yelp or you go to Amazon, you'll see their site. But what it will say at the top there, or sometimes in the middle, it will say, go download our iPhone app. And that's one trend. Another one is that now when you search for something like Bank of America and you're on an iPhone and you're searching for it in your Safari browser using Google Search, Google's now surfacing app results at the top of those listings. So the first result, if you're using an iPhone on a browser, will say, download the Bank of America iPhone app. So there's this huge push to promote the app with the browser, acknowledging the fact that with the browser, the experience is usually a little slower, right? It takes longer for pages to load. The second is that browsers can't take advantage of a lot of native features that the device has. You can't shake the phone and the app does something. Location awareness is fairly limited. A lot of other native features in the phones can't be really taken advantage of as much as you can with a native app built on that phone's SDK. My hope is that this changes in 3 to 5 years with the advances of HTML5 and native client. But for now, browser important, app really essential to drive people further into your funnel and to collect data on those people and to give them really differentiated, sometimes award-winning experiences. But in addition to this, we can't just have a browser or an app out there, or a native app. We need to integrate that with the core back office functions of our business so that we don't have these fragmented experiences. So integrating what you have now in e-commerce and your back-end admin systems with this new mobile commerce channel is really going to be a big key to success. And I think this is very similar to the web. When people had these fragmented web experiences that were separated from their core businesses, the ones who really integrated those two in creative ways and had centralized data and very nice, clean, cross-channel marketing programs were the winners. So we took this very seriously because it's very costly to do, and we said, how do we start here? with our mobile commerce platform. And the third point here is that not just a mobile commerce offering, but a mobile commerce platform approach, I think is going to propel the industry forward. Today we see a lot of different agencies building a lot of different products. A lot of them are starting from scratch whenever they come to a new mobile commerce product, and that's limiting the amount of innovation that can happen. And the neat thing about being on an e-commerce platform and thinking, how do we build a mobile commerce platform, is that we think, well, what kind of features do we need to bring to market that's going to enable this ecosystem in a way that, that is truly unique? And the difficulty that we had is that we have merchants that are online only, and then we have merchants that are multi-channel retailers. So they have a brick-and-mortar store, they have a website, and the needs of features and use cases between these two different audiences are quite different. So what we said is, why don't we build a solid, integrated, robust mobile commerce platform that has features that merchants need right now, but why don't we have an approach that down the road allows this platform to be extensible to include new features. So perhaps if you're a multi-channel retailer, you're interested in something like a barcode scanner add to cart function that allows people to skip lines. Maybe if you're an online-only retailer, you're interested in time sales and digital coupons that have push notifications built in. Both of them are interested in location-based push notifications, so they can target people around Los Angeles, Paris, or wherever. So we thought, let's just create something right up the middle and then use the strength of our 200,000 strong developer community and a lot of just mobile dev agencies out there, bring them all into one place, create a platform, and watch as the innovation launch. So that was our thinking. It needs to be cost efficient. Obviously, creating apps is very expensive, and another big view is that in the next 5 years, we're going to see mobile commerce become huge and almost default for some people. I purchase first, I browse first on a phone, and then the web is sort of the secondary thing. So that's how seriously we're taking mobile. Let's talk quickly about 3 hurdles to getting a native app. I think a lot of people, if you dialed into this call, there are hundreds of you. I'm looking at the attendee list here. You're probably very savvy about mobile, and that's why you're attending this. So I won't go into too much detail here. We'll always have details on our blog, and you can always feel free to contact me. But I want to quickly go into these costs about building a native app. Native apps are, as I said, they're awesome. They're growing. As we've already seen, and as we'll continue to see this year, a lot of commerce is going to take place on native apps. There's going to be branded experiences, storefront and branded experiences built into these native apps for the iPhone, for the Android, for the iPad. But all this opportunity is limited today because, number one, the cost. And to build a winning mobile commerce setup, you've got to first integrate all of your back office admin tools with your new mobile commerce offering so that these customers and this customer data is going into a centralized place. So you can continue the conversation and enable a lot of really neat cross-channel communications between the web and mobile and maybe even your store. The cost of this, even at the low end, is between $50K and $250,000. It's very expensive to do all that systems integration work. The second big cost, of course, is developing natively on each device. If you can find some iPhone SDK resources out there to build you an app, and you can manage to keep them, you'll find that it's anywhere between 10 and now 95 to 100K for a really good native app. The iPhone especially has a lot of memory management issues. There's a lot of time that needs to be spent to QA the app and get it ready for production. So this is per device between 10K and almost 100K. And you need to focus on the 3 big ones, of course, that are driving a lot of commerce, iPhone, Android, and iPad. But then when you get into Symbian devices and some others, these costs continue to skyrocket. Lastly, you have enhancements and maintenance. Like I said, the memory management with the iPhone or new features that you need to build for the Android, you need to build those features. You need to bundle them, re-release to, let's say, the App Store. If there are bugs or crash issues, you need to update your app for those. So these are big pain points. This is a lot of money to invest in mobile, and we think this is one of the constraints that keeps the really good niche e-commerce store and the big retailer from entering mobile commerce in a strong way. Hurdle number 2, if you solve the cost problem, scale is the next big one. And this model right here that I've written on the slide is actually extremely difficult to build, where you have these integrated systems in the middle, and then around those you have all your devices, and you continue to roll out each device in an efficient way so that it's integrated from the get-go. Very difficult to pull off, very difficult to manage inventory across devices and different types of apps. So that's hurdle number 2, is scaling the administration and the data integrity of each device that you add to your mobile commerce offering. And then the big hurdle number 3, and I referenced this a little bit earlier, is just the entire process of getting your app into these marketplaces. Submitting your app to Apple, updating that app with new features or even bug fixes, and then resubmitting to Apple. It's a process that's now requiring a little bit of expertise, and it requires some investment from any retailer wanting to get into mobile commerce. So it's on those 3 hurdles, or those 3 groups of pain points, that we built Magento Mobile, especially this phase 1. And I want to go into a little bit about what we did to make life a little bit easier for merchants. So you might have seen this on the landing page for Magento Mobile, which is available at magentomobile.com. Many of you on the call today have signed up for the limited release, and I'll have some more details about what you can do later. But the first point is, let's have seamless storefront integration. Let's make it very easy for your existing Magento store to be present in a mobile app. A couple clicks of a button. That's square one for us, and like I said, that's where most of the cost is involved today in having a winning mobile commerce solution. Number 2, moving across, is the ability to very simply, very easily add and manage multiple devices. And I'll go into some details about how we were able to pull that off. But if the iPad comes out and you want to be on it, you should be able to get on it fairly quickly, fairly easily, without a lot of pain, without a lot of cost. And that's what we wanted to create with Magento Mobile. The third point in the second row here is a hassle-free submission process, where Magento could manage the submission process for you, and you could sit back, manage your store from within your Magento Mobile admin, manage the branding, and we would worry about all of the back office activities that need to take place. One analogy we've used is the often quoted swan effect, where when you see a swan gliding gracefully by on the lake, you really don't see what's happening beneath the water. All the legs kicking, the dirt and the worms, you just see the swan gliding gracefully by, and that's the kind of effect we wanted to create with Magento Mobile, where you're just worrying about your business, your store, and a lot of the complexity of mobile commerce is managed on the back end. Part of that managing your store process is a native app that's fully customizable. You should be able to add your own branding, your own logos, your own product catalog details, and the app would take in those feeds even after you had submitted it to the iTunes Marketplace and after users had downloaded it. So we wanted to give you the flexibility to manage 90% of the branding and customization of the app without a resubmission to the iTunes Marketplace. Another big thing with mobile is just the ability to engage your customers wherever they are now. For one example is with the iPhone app, you have the ability to send targeted push notifications by geo, even by radius of a zip code. So we wanted to make sure we built in the ability for merchants to be able to do this. And then lastly, and as I've said a few times, we wanted to make this super low cost of ownership, almost to the point of commoditizing apps and giving any shop out there, big, medium, or small, the ability to launch powerful native applications that drive business and engage customers. There are 2 components to the mobile Magento Mobile. The first is the mobile app admin. This is part of your Magento installation. It will be bundled with all future versions of Magento. For those of you who already have Magento, it will be available as a download with the Magento Connect. It is going to be extensible. You're going to be able to add new devices to it, new features for each device, new templates for each device, and that's the first big part. It makes it very easy for you to manage your mobile commerce presence. It's going to tie into the existing reporting system of your Magento backend. You'll be able to extend it and add things like analytics and push notifications. It's a very cool product, and I'll share you with some screenshots with you in a moment. Number 2 is the mobile app. And right now we're starting with the iPhone. We'll be adding the Android this summer, and this fall we'll be adding the iPad. And then from there, sky's the limit. We're going to be looking at a lot of other devices such as Symbian devices. Some people have asked about BlackBerry. We're looking into that. BlackBerry is a little bit fragmented, whereas each device kind of has its own OS, but there are devices like the BlackBerry Curve that are very popular and that deserve some attention. The good thing about this is now that we've built the ability to scale across all these devices, it's really up to us and our ecosystem to make that happen. So, but starting with the iPhone, the Android, and the iPad this year, those will be the big first 3. Each template for each of these devices is actually built on the native SDK of the device, and that's significant because you see a lot of these cross-platform frameworks that, hey, this is one framework, you build on this, and you can scale it across all these different devices like the Android and the iPhone. We looked into them. Our take is that it's innovative. It deals with the cost and scale issues that I mentioned earlier. The problem is that oftentimes you can't take advantage of the deep native features within each device. With the breadth, you sacrifice depth. And so we wanted to create something that was deeply integrated with each device, provided the ability to scale up or scale out with multiple different features, and that was deeply integrated at the same time with the Magento API. So it's a difficult model to pull off, so I think it's why you don't see it a lot in the marketplace. But it's the best one if you want to really deeply integrate with each of these devices and engage customers with all these great new features. So starting with that first one, the Magento Mobile Admin Panel. I'm excited to announce this is going to be distributed as a free open source module, and it's going to be bundled open source with Magento. This, as you recall, was the biggest cost of a mobile commerce investment, and as you can see, catching some noise here. You had signal economy correction, you had brands and Can everyone hear me? Looks like our audio is down for a moment. Okay, great. Oh, wow, I just got 50 yeses. Okay, thank you. Do you need me to go back a slide? Do I need to, or are we good with, okay, great. Magento Mobile Admin Panel, as I mentioned, some of you might have missed, is going to be distributed as an open source product. We're happy to announce, and this is the biggest cost constraint of investing in mobile. And this will be available in July, bundled with Magento as well as downloadable on Magento Connect. I think it was an exciting product to work on. It automatically imports your store catalog and exports it to a native app. We took a different approach to getting that catalog into a native app because we found that the typical methods used to get product catalogs on the web were a little bit clunky for mobile and didn't accommodate some of the unique ways that, let's say, the iPhone absorbs XML. So this new product gets product data, account data, checkout data into an app very efficiently. You're going to be able to easily add new devices with this as they're made available. So when we release the iPad, when we release the Android, you're going to be able to go and procure those new devices, install them here. Likewise, it's going to include the ability to add extensions per device. So on here, this is a design mock, by the way. It isn't an actual screenshot. So you can sort of see what it will eventually look like on the left-hand side with extensions. Well, let's say we come out with a digital coupon extension for the iPhone. You'll be able to get this extension. You'll be able to install it. And because Magento is going to own the submission process, you'll be able to add that feature to your packet, submit it, sort of set it and forget it, and then in a short time have some digital coupons available for your customers. So There's a submission tab on the left-hand side here that allows you to enter things like your thumbnail for your app, how much it's going to cost in the marketplace, what you're going to call it, and everything that Apple usually requires for a submission. When you hit submit, it'll submit it to us. It'll kick off a workflow. We'll submit your app for you and let you know when it's live in the iTunes marketplace. Now, even after it's live, you're going to be able to customize the branding here. So you can see in the center area, you have color themes, you have sort of these prepackaged themes that we're going to provide for you. You can use any of those, or you can start from scratch and do your own customization. You can change the colors of primary colors and secondary colors, and as you'll see in a moment, they end up looking completely different. And lastly, this point on the left here, what I said is that you can extend this device with new features. And one of the ways is this left-hand side, you have the extensions. That provides some administrative controls for each extension. But down below, you have this tabs area. And in this tabs area, you're going to be able to actually say what tabs appear on your app. So if you want a shopping cart there, it'll be there. If you don't want it there, you can either move it to more or you can make it inactive. If you want something like digital coupons or augmented reality or timed sales, private sales, and then when that trend fades away or that campaign is over, you still have this core base of people who have downloaded your app that you can continue the conversation with push notifications or even email and everything because you've linked these people into your CRM. So that's the Magento Mobile admin panel. This is a close-up view of above the fold. Audio isn't out. I'm just giving you a chance to absorb some of the features here. Below the fold are the tabs. And we'd like to eventually give you the ability to change the names of these tabs as well as the actual look of the icon. In phase 1, that isn't included. In phase 2 or phase 2.5, it will be. So we hope by the end of the year you'll be able to have even more control of the customization in this area so that you can have sort of branded icons if you'd like. Okay. Now, some of you have asked, how do we get these extensions? When something like private sales or digital coupons or augmented reality is available, where do I go? And the answer for us is in this Magento Connect marketplace. So with Magento Connect, as some of you know today, this is sort of like the app store of Magento, where you can go and buy add-ons and features, payment gateways, etc. So this is where you go today to do this, and we thought, well, why not just add an area for Magento Mobile? We already have one mobile area for a mobile browser. We'll either extend that or have a mobile app section, and you'll be able to procure new features, install them into your Magento admin, and redeploy your apps. And we're going to offer new features for the iPhone, new features for Android, new features for the iPad, etc. And ideally, my vision is to open this up to a community of partners so that these agencies out there who have like a really great mobile commerce idea can deploy this idea to Magento merchants, and you all can just easily put it into your apps and test it out for yourself to see if it works, without having to spend tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars to go through that whole process. The iPad itself, I'll say one note before I dive into some of these screens. I've been following iPhone app and some Android app announcements of big companies, like especially the Internet Retailer 500 companies, for a while now. And I have largely been disappointed when I go to the App Store and download it. I find that sometimes it's just a wrapper for a browser, or there isn't a lot of thought put into it. Sometimes it looks almost like I've transported myself back to the days of GeoCities and Web 0.0. I feel like I'm back in 1997 again, or 1996. And if that's how brands choose to represent themselves, I completely understand. They're starting off in mobile commerce as a new area. But I said, why can't it be different? Why can't we look out there at the best features that you see, even from consumer internet companies like the Tweety app, which was recently purchased by Twitter, has a lot of great features. Amazon's native application has some terrific features. So does eBay's. There are a lot of these really great features that are turning into best practices for mobile app development. And the iPhone, of course, has a touch screen, so you can't have too many features in one area, because when you go to touch, the amount of activities in that pixel radius, it can confuse the phone. So we have to be smart about the way that we integrate this. We kind of have to keep it home. We can't have everything in there. But we wanted to very cleanly integrate some really neat features so that when you release your app, even the power users out there, the iPhone power users, look at it and they're like, wow, I love this feature. I love the way that I can look at a product list and swipe my finger on one of the items and it slides to the right, some more options to help me skip a few steps. It's not an essential use case. It's not an essential feature for just the average browser, but for the advanced user, they'll really appreciate it. When I go and edit filters and I come back to the product list, I should be able to see how many filters are applied, and I should be able to do neat things like take my thumb on that 3 filters applied area and drag it down and get the result that I see in the center, and be able to zero those things out. And when I do, it reloads the product list very quickly. All these in-stock and price and review data, this should all be real time. It shouldn't be delayed like I sometimes see on other platforms. Or I shouldn't be able to look on mobile commerce and see, oh, this thing has 3 reviews and it costs $40, and then go to your website to find it has 40 reviews and it costs a little bit more, a little bit less. It should be tightly integrated. I should be able to look at your product catalog and swipe it like I do CoverFlow when I'm browsing my iPhone or iPod library. So a lot of these neat features we wanted to bring as just standard features within the app. And then furthermore, we wanted to give you the ability to brand these features. So these are some of the defaulted themes that are included in Magento Mobile. As you can see, when you start to add new colors for primary colors and background colors, it starts to look very, very different. Furthermore, some of these screens you can actually upload background images and edit more colors. So if you look at one of our launch partners, North Face, something they were doing in Europe. Now that free shipping home tab that you see first there, that image actually comes from the Magento Mobile CMS. So that could be changed out every day without a resubmission to Apple. You can put sales on there, and in a future phase, we're going to make it clickable. So every time a user loads the app, it's dynamic. It's not static. The info button in the upper left is actually going to import all your static pages. When you push it, it has this nice flip around function. Go ahead and search for a Magento Mobile app on YouTube, and you'll find us giving a little demo. You can see that feature in action. Now in the middle and the right-hand side there, you have a lot of other background images and features. We also have launched with PayPal. We support your standard checkout process, of course, but if you choose, you can use PayPal's new mobile embedded payments product, which provides a native buying experience and checkout experience on the iPhone. Terrific product. The PayPal team has done a great job with this, and you'll be able to enable that or disable that within your Magento Mobile admin. Likewise, you can use your standard checkout. If you're using one of the solutions that takes you through the checkout process and then validates credit cards behind the scenes, Authorize.net is one example. That'll be supported here. But some people choose not to use it for mobile, and you can use with PayPal, and we'll, of course, be actively integrating with other unique payment solutions, too. I want to talk quickly about what's next and then get to some of your questions. iPad is going to be coming this fall. The question is, what if your product catalog could become like a digital magazine, and you can actually let people turn pages and touch products? This is one of the mocks for that. What it would be like if we allowed people to touch your products and to just absorb your product catalog and make a magazine out of it. And what if they saw something that they liked and they could touch that product and buy it with one click? And they can turn the page and continue to shop. So turn the page, shop. Another platform we're going to be building for this summer is Android. Android is really flexible and makes a lot of our vision possible for extending it with new features and redeploying really quickly. So one interesting feature Android has is an open source barcode scanner. What if let's say someone like the North Face wanted to work with REI on a line skipping campaign, where you go into REI and let's say the line's very, very long, and you can walk up with your North Face app to a jacket that you like, a North Face jacket, take a picture of the barcode, and automatically that jacket would be added to your cart. And you can check out with one click with PayPal or do your standard checkout, and you can walk out of the store as like a phase 1 and skip that line. And maybe as a phase 2, we can add a pick up in store feature that you can just go pick it up at the counter and walk out. So these are the sort of neat multi-channel retailer use cases that we can enable because we've created a platform approach for mobile commerce. Let's get into pricing. The way I'm going to talk about pricing is a little bit about reviewing what it costs out there to invest in all these areas and bring forward the pricing that we have for the first phase of this, for the iPhone. This is the first time it's been announced. I'm sure there'll be some questions that comes up, so let me just briefly go over it, and then we'll move into Q&A. So this is a world without Magento Mobile. This is what I reviewed earlier. Integrating your core back office functions with your native applications. Then you have to build each native application. You build an iPhone app, it's anywhere between 10 and 55,000. It can go as high as 95 to 100,000 now. This is per device. Then you have the ongoing maintenance for new fixtures, new fixes, optimization, fixing for crashes, adding new features. If iTunes has a new compliance rule that you'll need to abide by, you need to go into your app and update it. Recent example, if your Wi-Fi was down, if Wi-Fi wasn't available from where a user was accessing your application, you had to splash an image that said that, hey, Wi-Fi is unavailable. Everybody had to go in and update their apps with this. So this is an example of the ongoing maintenance that you have to have, and that requires that you hire someone or that you have an agency on retainer. So let's talk about how we price Magento Mobile in light of these three features. The first is that the most expensive part of a winning e-commerce solution is going to be free and bundled with Magento. We're going to be bundling this with future versions. For those of you who already have it, you'll be able to download it from Magento Connect. It will be compatible with Community Edition 1.3 and above. So that's for all of our people using our core free open source platform. It'll be available for Magento Pro, all versions, 1.8 and above. And for Enterprise, it'll be available for 1.6 and above. You'll be able to download it. It'll automatically associate itself with all of your store views. And you'll be able just to go to mobile within your admin panel, choose which store view you'd like to manage, and then from there it's your choice which store view you'd like to turn into an app. Now, for the iPhone application, what we do is we have a one-time setup fee for $7.99. That gets you set up with a native app. It absorbs your store catalog on the XML feed into this app, and then we submit it for you. In addition to that, we have, for this ongoing maintenance area, we have an annual maintenance fee of $6.99 per year. That's around less than $100 a month, less than $70 a month, in fact. And this includes just us doing ongoing maintenance, like that scenario I talked about with the need to have notifications for when Wi-Fi is down or if there's memory leakage or optimization issues that need to happen. We're maintaining your app on an annual basis and for a little monthly cost. So with the $7.99 and the $6.99 and the free Magento Mobile admin, significant cost savings, and you get a terrific iPhone app that you have full branding flexibility over, as well as the ability to add new features to. Now, some people will ask, I want a little bit more than what you have out of the box. I want to have things like in-store pickup now, and I don't want to wait until it gets released. Or I want to add augmented reality, or I want to change the look and feel of what you've done. We do make the source code available for $6.999, and for significantly less, than what you'd have to spend to build a winning e-commerce or winning mobile commerce solution. We'll just give you the source code and you'll be able to modify it or work with your mobile agency, and they can use this as their starting point. Most agencies, when you engage them, they have to do all of this catch-up work, and then they get to the features that you want. This gives them the ability to start at 9 so that you can get to 10. And we're also going to be building out a partnership community. So if any of you on the call are part of a mobile design or mobile development agency, we'd like to talk with you about partnering so that our merchants out there can have a pool of great shops to go to extend this Magento Mobile offering if they choose the source code approach. So just to take all the squares away and make this a little bit easier to understand, 2 options. See it as lease versus buy. Okay, the first one is a standalone, what you see is what you get, great mobile commerce solution. We submit it for you. It includes a one-time setup fee of $7.99 and an annual maintenance fee of $6.99 a year. Significant cost savings of what's available out there in the market. Allows you to get started on mobile commerce very quickly. From the time you submit to the time your app is live, we're seeing about a 1 to 3 week timeline. A lot of that depends on iTunes and their approval process. Option 2 is the buy option. That's when you get the source code, one-time fee. We don't have a recurring fee on that. You can work with an agency, or you can have your own in-house developers work on the solution here. And you can even submit it to iTunes under your own account. So if you don't want it to be show submitted by Magento, you want it to show submitted by your brand, you can do this as well. How to get started? Many of you have signed up for the limited release on magentomobile.com, or this is also available on magentocommerce.com/product/mobile. Magentomobile.com makes it a little bit easier. This is sort of the pool that we're going to be drawing from to go through our limited beta period. We are tracking to make Magento Mobile available in mid-July. We wanted to wait till after the July 4th holiday, give you time to relax with your families, here in the States at least, and then in mid-July we're going to start to make this available on the site. We'll be able to actually go and pay and start to sign up. We expect a fire hose of orders, so we're preparing a lot of operations for this, and I would appreciate if you're just patient with us as we get through this first round of orders. But I would recommend getting in that pool, because really the first 100 customers or so are going to be the ones that inform our product roadmap for the rest of the year. So if you're very much invested in this and very much wanting to make it happen, we invite you to be in this first wave of sign-ups. With that, I'll move to Q&A. Let's see, I just want to see how much time we have here. Looks like I have a couple minutes left here. There's a question about, let's see here. One question is, does this mean that retailers will have to convince users to download an app to buy from us? Yes, I would recommend promoting your app as much as you possibly can. And like I said, some people are now even using their browser as an innovative way to promote their app. If someone navigates to your, let's say, iPhone optimized browser, at the top it says download our iPhone app. You can put in there your iTunes link, and it will launch the store, and they'll be able to download your app. Is there an ETA for other devices? Yes. In July or early August, we hope to make Android available, and then we hope early fall to make iPad available. Okay. So there's one question about what's the difference between the free version app, free and version app of Magento Mobile. The big difference is that what is free here is the admin, which is the most significant part of the cost. It's all the API integration. It's your product catalog and all the pricing rules, etc. It is your account administration, and it's your checkout. That's the part that's free. The part that we do charge for is the native app itself, as well as the annual maintenance fee to submit it. You can, of course, override that and get the source code if you'd like, and run all that on your own. It won't be Ion Cube encoded, as some other person asked about Magento Mobile. It's going to be distributed as a free open source product. There's another question about source code and whether it's per device. The answer is yes. So $6,999 is for the source code for the iPhone. There'll be other pricing for the Android and iPad. Localization, the plan is for English, French, and German. Right now we have English complete, and we're working on French and German. And we hope to get some feedback from our first wave of customers on other areas to localize both the admin and the app for as well. As for where the catalog is located, it is not part of the app. The app is sort of like a shell that receives your product catalog, and that's so that when you make a pricing change or an inventory change, or let's say even like an image change for a product, the app updates very quickly. And we've worked very hard on getting product catalog data into the app as quickly and efficiently as possible. So we didn't need to bundle or natively integrate your catalog with the app. That being said, there is caching in place so that users can get a faster experience after they've loaded the app for the first time. The iPhone theme, not the native app, but the m-commerce theme that's been available since 2008, and that by the way we will be upgrading shortly, that will continue to be offered for free. We won't be charging for that. I did notice that there are some e-commerce platforms that are charging for a mobile browser theme. Just to give you some context, I can get a developer to finish a mobile commerce theme in 6 hours. So I have seen agencies and even other platforms charging hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for a theme for an iPhone. In my opinion, that's just the starting point. So we offer that for free. And the native app, I think, is really where the holy grail of mobile commerce and deep customer engagement is happening. For that, the cost is marginal. That's our answer to that. Let's see, we have a couple more minutes left, and I'll take a couple more questions. Let me see here. Do development houses who partner with Magento for mass mobile commerce app development have flexible or reduced per app source code fees? We actually don't reveal that. We don't get into details on partnership deals that we have with individual firms. If the question is, can you get a better deal if you go through an agency versus Magento, the answer would be no. We have an MSRP on that $6,999. It is significant savings for the amount of features and the amount of integration that you get. So the cost is extremely competitive with what's out there, and we stand by that pricing. Can the app support multiple currencies? For now, yes. There are several currencies supported, and we'll have a FAQ on which ones are. We'll get into more detail on that at a later date. There's some questions about available extensions, and I just want to get to this. Sort of, does it do this? Does it do that? My business needs this. The way that we built it is in a very flexible way, so that if you have iPhone developers on staff or you have an agency you work with, if you simply procure the source code, agencies can jump right in and really be able to extend both the app as well as the admin to accommodate some unique use cases that you might have. That's really the way that we built it, and we wanted to also have that source code available at a very competitive cost so that you can offer a winning solution in your markets and just use the agency for the really good gravy kind of unique use case features. As for store capability, at this time, it's not capable for multiple stores. The reason for that is because in a lot of stores you have different languages, currencies, and in some cases, rules, inventory rules. And we wanted to be sensitive to that. And there's also even different branding that some businesses have within different markets or different locales. So right now, one of the reasons why the cost is so competitive is because if you have two or three store views out there for different markets, you could easily deploy to each of those for less than $10,000. which is absolutely amazing. You can have individual apps for each of those and all those user integrated into your back office system. So right now it doesn't support multiple stores. That being said, you can work with a partner, procure the source code, and offer some sort of a multi-store selector when you begin. So with that being said, I know there are a lot more questions, but I'd like to thank you all for joining our first Magento Mobile webinar. If you go to magento.com or magentocommerce.com, you can access our blog there where we'll have lots more updates. I'll also make this presentation, the recording of it, available shortly so that you can review it. I do recommend listening to it for a second time to catch some more details. And I've left some of my own contact information as well for you to contact me. Thanks so much, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. We almost maxed out on this webinar, so I think we're going to need to have another one. So I'll stay tuned to our blog for more updates on that. Thank you.